Hi, this is the Fiery Joker. It's finally done! Oh, I've been working on that video since before Christmas. Alright, thank you all for the positive feedback. Thank you for your support throughout this entire ordeal. Alright, announcement. I will be doing Unscripted again every Wednesday. Unfortunately, major projects are just going to have to be done whenever they're done. I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to do this because I don't want to pump out a video every week and have it be sub-quality. That's what happened with Top 10 Mario spin-offs, unfortunately. If I want these videos to stay high quality, then I'm just going to have to work my butt off and try and get them out as fast as possible, but I'm just going to have to take my time with them just to make sure they're good. So, yeah, it's like, would you rather have a billion bad quality videos, or would you rather have a few good quality videos? Alright, and, well, that's that. And, I suppose you're all wondering about the whole fun is secured thing. Alright, I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but long story short, I make a lot of impulsive decisions. Whenever I'm forced to make a judgment call on something important, usually the decision I make is the wrong one. Okay, I'm not in trouble or anything. Don't worry, I'm not in any sort of trouble, but usually when it comes down to it, I make a snap decision and it's usually the wrong one. And that's all I'm willing to say about that topic. Okay, moving on to the topic of today's Unscripted, Doug Walker's, well, Nostalgia Critics, Pearl Harbor review. Alright, disclaimer. I loved the review. Alright, I thought it was hilarious. I love Doug Walker's new style and how he reviews things. I love all those extra long skits. I think they're hilarious. And I love Doug Walker's obvious support of the military. It's very refreshing. But there are a couple things in that review I take issue with. Halfway throughout the review, the Nostalgia Critic took umbrage at the way the military was portrayed in the movie Pearl Harbor. What set him off was a scene where a Navy sailor was hanging on for dear life and he said, "I can't swim." And Doug Walker pointed out that this is absurd. He's in the Navy. He should know how to swim, and then he goes into this full-blown tirade against Michael Bay, when that wasn't really warranted. Mr. Walker got his facts wrong. Mandatory swim qualification wasn't established until after World War II in the Navy and the Marine Corps. So that scene with the Navy guy hanging on for dear life, saying he can't swim, that very well could have happened. There are plenty of people who go into Navy and Marine Corps boot camp and they don't know how to swim. I mean, in history, USS Indianapolis, it got sunk and a lot of people drowned because they couldn't swim. And I'm pretty sure Doug Walker has seen Saving Private Ryan and how a lot of the Marines that died in the opening of that died because they couldn't swim, because they drowned, because they couldn't swim with all the gear on, which you're now trained to do. That's the whole reason that swim qualification was established, because of these incidents. And I just felt that that's probably the angriest Doug Walker has gotten, yet it was very misinformed. it was just very awkward for me to sit through. It was slightly painful, actually. Now, disclaimer again, I love the review, I love Nostalgia Critic, I love Doc Walker as a person, I've met him, he's a nice guy. Just that if he's going to criticize Michael Bay for his portrayal of the military, which I agree with him, it's completely stupid. I mean, the way he portrayed those guys, those planes would do those death-defying stunts together. Okay, the least of what would happen was those guys would be reduced in rank. What probably would happen was those guys would be booted out of the military pronto. And yes, there were a lot of stupid things that Michael Bay does in portrayal of the military that really, really irks me. But that particular one where Mr. Walker, that was kind of unwarranted. Alright. That's all I have to say, and user questions. This first question comes from a user named CJ Kelly 333. What would I rather watch? Kingdom of the Crystal Skull or Phantom Menace? Okay, if I'm gonna be honest, Phantom Menace, because, well, I grew up with that as a kid, so there's some nostalgic value in it for me. So I would probably stand to watch that a little bit more than I would Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Yeah, a biased opinion. I'm aware of it. Nothing I can do about it. Alright, this next question comes from a user named Flippy Super. Will you do an annual top 10 games of the year? No. One, because I can barely pump out normal countdowns, and I can never set a schedule for myself. I'm terrible at setting deadlines for myself. Two, that's just a little bland to do one at the end of every year. I mean, and I haven't played every single game that comes out every year, so yeah, those impossible. I would never be able to do them. Alright, and also, for the first time, we are getting a video question, and this...
What kind of melee weapon do you have, or would you have?
So, what would my preferred melee weapon be? Well, in terms of practicality, I would go with either a bow staff or a simple knife. But in terms of sentimental value... You jelly?
God